Today you're going to learn 8 vocabulary and pronunciation, 6 idioms, 6 phrasal verbs, 3 British English usage, and 2 expressions for different contexts.
I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
Whether you are looking to improve your job prospects, build better relationships, or embark on more exciting adventures, the Mother Isn't Mother podcast is here to help. Join me, Adenike Babalola, your English language coach, as we explore authentic and memorable English lessons from my favorite English films designed to help you speak English confidently. Click to follow and subscribe and enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to the Mother Isn't Mother podcast with me, Adenike Babalola. I am your host and English language coach. I am delighted to be back with episode 6, and this is titled 25 English Speaking Lessons from Notting Hill, starring the most loved Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant. Now, I'm giving a big shout out to all our listeners in over 55 countries and more than 230 cities, including Lagos, British Columbia, Seoul, Baku, and York. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for always coming back. You inspire me to keep creating valuable episodes. Now, if you're listening for the first time, I am also delighted to have you. Don't forget to subscribe on the platforms you use, whether that is Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and more, okay? And if you would like to have an opportunity or an environment where you can practice your speaking skills, make sure you listen to the end, okay? I have something for you. Now, what are we doing today? Today, you're going to learn 8 vocabulary and pronunciation, 6 idioms, 6 phrasal verbs, 3 British English usage, and 2 expressions for different contexts. Okay, so if you've been listening to previous episodes, you see that first I start by playing the clip with the particular thing we are learning, and then I explain it and help you grab the context and all of it, okay? So we're going to take all of these lessons from the film Notting Hill to help you speak English confidently at work, with your friends, and when you're out and about in public. We will also explore life lessons from the film and end with a 3-question quiz to help you understand what you've learned. Finally, I will share my top language learning strategies to make your experience easy and enjoyable. I also appreciate your feedback as it helps me to improve. So please share your thoughts with me via social media. Just search for Mother Isn't Murder podcast. You'll find the links in the show notes. Or if you're using YouTube, please check the description, okay? Now I'm just going to spend the next 1 minute energizing you the way I like to do. And I'm going to share a quote by the 26th President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt. And it says, "Believe you can and you are halfway there." Believe you can and you are halfway there. What does this mean? Everything that we do, every success that we have begins in our mind. So if you have the right mindset and say, it's this thing I'm doing, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do well, I promise you, you're already on the journey to that success. Take me for example. If I couldn't speak English well, you would not be listening to my voice right now. I would not have my other YouTube channel where I started in 2020 as an online IELTS coach. I was creating videos and all those things. Now that does not mean that sometimes you don't experience some conflict or some difficulty. But when you tell yourself, okay, I want to improve my English speaking skills because maybe you want to get a better job, or you want a better life for your family abroad, or you're somebody in the tech space and you know that, okay, you want to be in certain countries where you can have better opportunities. What is my point? Promise yourself that you will believe in your mind that being a better speaker of English is possible. Even if it means that you have to do something every day, I can assure you that as you continue to take these baby steps, they will pay off just in time. Okay, so let's move on now to the film summary. Now, this is Notting Hill, and this is one that I had always wanted to watch. I think since maybe 2021 or thereabout. I just saw it sometime on Netflix and I felt this is one I should watch. It's Julia Roberts and everything. But I never got to watch it until recently, and I am grateful that I can share the lessons, I can share the experience of this film with you. So this is a 1999 romantic comedy. I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old when this film was released, and it was May 21st. And the beautiful thing about it is it had a very high box office performance and even received so many awards and all of it. And I think it was regarded as the highest grossing British film of all time. So, what is the story in this film? Now, you know Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman, walking down the street, pretty woman. Yeah, that's like the main pull for me. That was the main pull for this film, and I'm glad I watched it. So this is an American actress, like the most successful American actress, meets this small guy, a travel bookstore owner. His name is William Thacker. So the actress is Anna Scott, and she meets this guy when she walks into his bookstore, and somehow you just find that they connect and everything. And excuse me, the main conflict of their relationship was she was high up there, she was influential, she was wealthy, she was popular and everything, and this was just a regular guy in Notting Hill. Okay, so that's the story that we have in here. And because this is London, you have different uses of British English and all of that. And one thing I loved about it was the sarcasm and the humor. I just loved the way there were different moments of laughter, especially with the friend. William Thacker had a roommate called Spike. The guy was just hilarious, okay? But now I'm going to run through the exact lessons that we're going to learn, and then we can start with it, okay? So, for the 8th vocabulary, we have genuine, neither or neither, a cup of tea, apricots, raisins, mayonnaise, goggles, and species, okay? So you will know where I was struggling because some of these things are new for me. So I'm going to share them with you. And then let's move on to the phrasal verbs. So the phrasal verbs we have are rooting round, running late, fire away, rush through, scraping by, get away with something. Okay, so those are the 6 phrasal verbs. For the 6 idioms, we have speak and span, ring any bells, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, down the drain, take pride in, flog your guts out. Okay, and then we have British English usage. The first one is, have you got a minute? The second is Lou, and the third is nobody fancies me. Finally, we have expressions for different contexts. You have classic and keen to talk about. Okay, so now that you know the 25 lessons, I'm going to go through them one by one. So if you've listened to previous episodes, you know that I would play the clip, I would give you context, and then I will explain it. So that's what we're going to do right now, okay? So let's go to the first lesson. And this is the word genuine, genuine, genuine. I'm going to play the clip for that, and you're going to get it, all right? Let's go.
The radical hairdressers, where everyone comes out looking like the Cookie Monster, whether they want to or not. And then suddenly it's the weekend, and from break of day hundreds of stalls appear out of nowhere, filling Portobello Road right up to Notting Hill Gate. And wherever you look, thousands of people are buying millions of antiques. Some genuine and some not quite so genuine.
Okay, so did you get it? So what you have here is some genuine and some not quite so genuine, okay? Now, I previously used to call this word or pronounce this word as genuine, genuine, but the correct thing to say is genuine. So there are 3 syllables, j. The sound in the j is the short air. So you have j and air. Now the second syllable is new, okay? And then the third one is in. So you have genuine. There are 3 syllables here. So if you have been pronouncing this wrongly, let's learn and let's repent. So what you have here is genuine, okay? Now, when you say something is genuine, you mean that it is authentic. In this case, it's saying that some of the things they sell are authentic and some others are not real. Some are fake. In Nigeria, we'll say legit. Okay, is this person legit? Are you legit? All right. So, and I think this is also an expression that you use in other parts of the world, legit or fake. If something is not legit, then it is fake or it's a fraud. Okay. So let's go on to the next lesson. So the second thing we are learning is neither or neither. When you want to say this or that, and it is, it is not this and it is not that, you say neither. Now in American English, you say neither. Okay, the long E sound, neither. The second sound, the second syllable has a short sound, so you have a neither. And then in British English, you say neither. Now this is something that for a while I struggled with, because before I knew that it was really about British or American, I just used to feel like, which one do I say? I don't know if you ever feel like that. Should I say neither or neither? Which of these things should I say? And when should I say them? But I just want you to know that both of them are correct. It just depends on the context or who you are speaking with. So if you're using the British English, you say neither. And if you're using American English, or if you're in a space where you're expected to speak American English, you say neither. Okay, now I'm going to play that clip from the film so that you can learn exactly how this was used. Okay, don't go anywhere.
But I once saw Ringo Starr.
Where was that?
Kensington High Street. At least I think it was Ringo. It might have been that man from Fiddler on the Roof. Toppy.
Topol.
Yes, that's Topol.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Ringo Starr doesn't look at all like Topol.
Yeah, but he was quite a long way away from me.
So actually, it could have been neither of them.
Yes, I suppose so, yes.
It's not a classic anecdote, is it?
Not a classic, no.
Okay, so did you hear what he said? He said it could have been neither of them. And this is William with the guy who works with him. This guy just has this thing of imagining that he saw somebody, but then it was somebody else. And this is just a conversation where he felt, okay, the person you thought you saw might not have been that person, right? Or it might not have been the 2 people at all. And so he says it could have been neither of them. So did you get this? All right, very good. Now let us move on to the next lesson. And this is a cup of tea. It looks like 4 words, but it is not pronounced as 4 words. When the British pronounce it, they connect the speech. So what you have is, I'm going to keep quiet and you're going to listen to the clip to know exactly how William said this phrase, okay?
Would you like a cup of tea before you go?
No.
Coffee?
No.
Orange juice? Probably not.
So this is right at the beginning of the film, shortly after William met Anna, and you find that he spilled his drink on her shirt and he had to take her to his apartment so she could clean up. And so just as she's coming down the stairs, he says to her, would you like a cup of tea? Okay, so it's not a cup of tea, you have a cup of tea, okay, like A, and the cup of becomes CUPPA. Would you like a cup of tea? Okay, in fact, I learned this on Instagram. I follow BBC Learning on Instagram. One of the people who creates their content actually made a video of this where she said, it's not a cup of tea, would you like a cup of tea? So it is fast speech or connected speech. And I think that's why some people just say that they cannot understand British English, they cannot hear it clearly and all of that. When they speak, they connect words very quickly. Okay, so this is something you need to take note of. The Americans would most likely say a cup of tea. Did you get it? Very good. Let's move on to the next one. So the next lesson here is one that honestly was completely new for me. Now, I used to pronounce this word as apricots, okay? But I learned in this film that you can say apricots. Now, you're going to listen to the clip where this word was used, okay? Let's proceed.
Disgusting sugary drink pretending to have something to do with fruits of the forest. Would you like something to eat? Something to nibble? Apricots soaked in honey. Quite why no one knows, because it stops them tasting of apricots and makes them taste like honey. And if you wanted honey, you just buy honey instead of apricots.
Okay, so in this clip, you hear him say apricot 3 times. Okay, so for British or American, you can say apricots, but there is also the room of apricots. So if you hear apricots or apricots, both pronunciations are correct. Okay, so that's another one. Now let's move on to the word raisins. This is one word that until last year I used to pronounce as raisins because of the S. Okay, but this is not, what you have here is not an S that is an S. The S in raisins is raisins, not raisins. Okay, I'm going to play that part of the clip of the film so that you can learn how it was pronounced here. Okay, don't go anywhere.
Disaster.
That's okay. I thought the apricot and honey thing was the real low point.
Oh my God, my flatmate. I'm sorry, but there's no excuse for him.
I'm just going to the kitchen to get some food. Then I'm going to tell you a story that'll make your balls shrink to the size of raisins.
So this is Spike, William's roommate. He came into the apartment just when William was saying goodbye to Anna. In fact, he had just apologized for something he said. And then Spike does not even see Anna at all. But he says to William, I'm going to tell you a story that is going to make your balls shrink to the size of raisins. Now, we know that raisins are dried grapes. This is dried fruits that you can have with yogurt or something like that. Now, it says raisins. So don't be like me and pronounce this word as raisins. No, the correct pronunciation is with a z, not this. So you have raisins. Did you get it? I'm sure you did. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now, this next lesson is one that I also used to pronounce wrongly. Have you ever said mayonnaise? Mayonnaise. Please raise your hands. It is not mayonnaise. Back in high school, this is like what we used to say because we can see M-A, ma. But no, that's not right. The correct way to pronounce this word is, I'm going to play the clip and you're going to hear it. Okay? Don't go anywhere.
There's something wrong with this yogurt.
It's not yogurt. It's mayonnaise.
All right, there we are then.
Okay, so in this clip, you find that Spike is taking something out of a small cup and he's putting it in his mouth and he says there's something wrong with this yogurt. And then what does William say? It is not a yogurt, it is mayonnaise. Would you believe that this is the first time I am really paying attention to a different pronunciation of that word? I've been so used to what we knew back in school that in my head, and this is not something I use often, as a replacement for salad cream, or you use it with bread or some other kind of vegetables and all. But the correct pronunciation both in the American and British English is mayonnaise, okay? So in American English, you have mayonnaise, okay? It's shorter, but in the British pronunciation, you say mayonnaise, mayonnaise, okay? So let's learn it and stick to the correct pronunciation, okay? So we have two more words on the pronunciation, the vocabulary and pronunciation. Let's go on to the next one.
There's something wrong with the goggles, though.
No, they were, prescription.
We?
So I could see all the fishes properly.
You should do more of this stuff.
So look,
Okay, so in this scene, Spike and William are sitting on the roof of their building, and then Spike says, "There's something wrong with these goggles though." Okay, so the word we're focusing on here is goggles. Goggles. Okay, like what you use for swimming, okay, the glasses you use when you're in water. Now, have you ever pronounced Google as goggle? Okay, so please take note of this. Both in the British and the American English, you say goggles when you're referring to those large glasses. But for Google, the search engine, it is not Google. This is one mistake. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google it. It is not Google it. You don't mean that you want to Google something on the internet. The glasses, the large glasses for being underwater is called goggles. Okay? While the search engine is called Google. Google. Do you get the difference? Very good. Now, you know that the first one has a short O, goes. And the word Google is Google. Okay? Do you get it? All right, let's move on to the next word. The next word is something I have always called species. But then when I hear people say species, I feel like, am I saying the wrong thing? No, both pronunciations are correct. I'm going to pause now and you are going to listen to the clip where William used this word, okay? Don't go anywhere.
excellent. Excellent. Any horses in that one? Or hounds, for that matter. Our readers are equally intrigued by both species.
It takes place on a submarine.
Oh. Or bad luck.
Okay, so this was one of the most hilarious scenes for me because, so you find that William had gone to see Anna at the Reeds, at the hotel where she's staying. And then because, he's asked where he's from, the magazine is from, he doesn't know what to say and he says horse and hound. And so when he eventually goes into the room where he's speaking with Anna, he doesn't know what to say and he ends up asking any horses in that one or hounds. Our readers are interested in both species. So the word he used, the pronunciation he uses is species. In the American English, in American pronunciation, you say species, but in British English, you say species. And I know that I have always pronounced it like this since high school when we did biology and all of that. Okay, so if you hear species, it's correct. If you hear species, it's also correct. Both pronunciations are correct. You just need to pay attention to the context where you're speaking. You need to know whether you need to use the British English or the British pronunciation versus the American pronunciation, okay? So now that is all of it for the vocabulary. We're going to move on to the second category, which is phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs. The first phrasal verb we are starting with is rooting round. And Spike uses this phrasal verb when William asks him why he's wearing a particular outfit. Okay, now let's play that clip so that you can get it. All right.
A few days ago.
Why are you wearing that?
Combination of factors, really. No clean clothes.
There never will be, unless you actually clean your clothes.
Right. vicious circle. Yeah. And I was like rooting around in your things, and I found this, and I thought, cool. Kind of spacey.
Okay, so one of my best parts about this film was this roommate Spike. He was always doing something silly or something hilarious, and that's one reason I enjoyed this film. Okay, but the phrase we're focusing on is rooting round, and you have that in this scene. Is wearing something that looks like a diver's suit, and then William asks him, why are you wearing that? And then he tells him a combination of factors. He doesn't have clean clothes, but he said, I was rooting round in your things, and I saw this, I found this. So what does rooting round mean? It means that you search for something in a disorganized way. Okay, you're doing it, you just search quickly without paying attention to anything else. So when you say you are rooting round, it does not have anything to do with trees in that sense. It just means that you are looking for something, you're searching for something quickly in a scattered way or something like that. All right, now we are going to move on to the next one, and this is running a little bit late. When you say you're running late, what do you mean? Or when you say things are running a bit late, what are you referring to? I'm going to play the clip where this phrasal verb was used, and you will learn exactly how to use it in your own expressions. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe and press the bell so that YouTube can send you automatic notifications when I upload a new episode. And if you're on Apple Podcast, please do the same. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, even on Spotify or whatever platforms that you use. Okay, now let's listen to this clip. Okay,
Are you sure?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Hi, I'm Karen. I'm sorry things are running a little bit late. Here's the thing. You want to come this way?
Okay, so in this scene, you find that William comes in, he comes to the hotel where Anna is staying. He comes in with another man, and the person who opens the door is Karen, one of the women who walks with Anna. And then she says, I'm sorry, things are running a little bit late. Okay, and then she gives them the magazine or something that you're going to use as they're organizing the event and everything. So the expression we are focusing on here is running late. What does this mean? When you say something is running late, you mean it is behind schedule. It means that you wanted to start at 1 p.m., but you're starting around 3 p.m. So if you've ever had to plan an event, or maybe you had to travel, or you had to do something, and then you just found that things did not go as quickly as you expected, you would say, oh, it looks like this, things are running late, or I am running late. So you can use it for yourself or for a thing in that sense. So you don't say going late like I'm going late. Okay, the better way to say it, the phrasal verb is running late. It's either you say I'm running late or things are running a little bit late. Okay, did you get it? I'm sure you did. Now let us move on to the next one. Okay, so the next lesson here is fire away. What does fire away mean? Now, this means that you start asking questions or you start giving instructions. You start doing what you're meant to do. Okay, and it is used in context where maybe people are meeting and you want to start speaking. All right, so it's a casual way to say, okay, I'm going to start talking, or you want somebody else to start talking. So I'm going to play the clip where William used this expression with Anna. Okay, so let's listen to it.
So, I'll just fire away then, shall I? Right.
Okay, so this is William in the room with Anna, And one of the people that Anna works with is right there in the room. So William is a little bit disorganized, is kind of anxious. Of course, he has to play along because he has pretended that he is from a magazine, okay? Horse and Hound. So what you have here is him saying, okay, I'll just fire away, because of course he has to ask questions and play along, okay? So when you say fire away, you mean that you're going to start asking your questions or start giving your instructions. If you tell someone else to fire away, you mean that they should start talking or they should start asking you their questions. Did you get it? Okay. We're going to move to the next one, which is rush through. Rush through. All right, let's go.
Yeah, wait a minute. She took your grandmother's flowers.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Bitch.
Oh, Mr. Becker. Mr. Becker. If you'd like to come with me, we can just rush you through the others.
The others?
Mr. Thacker is from Horse and Hound.
Okay, so in this scene, because William has claimed to be an interviewer from a magazine, this woman comes to him, Karen comes to him and says, okay, we'll just rush you through the others, okay? Now what she means is you have interviewed Anna, now you're going to interview other people, the directors, the actors and actresses in the film and all of it, okay? So when you tell somebody you want to rush them through something, it means that you want to take them through that thing quickly. They don't need to do it with so much attention or care, all right? So in this context, you're saying that Karen meant that she would take him to other people so you can interview them very quickly. Did you get it? So this is different from rush into. When you say you rush into something, it means that you do a thing without thinking about it. You do that thing very fast without thinking. But when you rush through, it means that you go through it without giving it necessary care or attention. You go through it very quickly. It's not necessarily about thinking. All right, now let us proceed to the next one, and this is scraping by. What does the phrasal verb scraping by? It means that you are barely surviving. It's just like when you say you are hustling, hustlanimi. Okay, so when you say hustlanimi, and that is my language, Yoruba, it means that I'm a hustler. I'm just somebody who is just surviving, barely surviving, okay? So when you say somebody is scraping by, you mean that they are managing to survive. They don't even have enough. But this is like in a financial context, okay? You're trying to say that you don't have enough, but you're just doing your best, doing everything you can to survive. So I'm going to play that clip so that you can learn it. And then we're going to look at the last phrasal verb, all right?
So, tell me, Anna, what do you do?
I'm an actress.
Oh, splendid.
What do you do?
I'm actually in the stock market myself, so not really similar field. Though I have done a little bit of amateur stuff. P.G. Woodhouse, farce, all that, you know. Careful there, Vicar. Always imagined it's a pretty tough job, though, acting. I mean, the wages are a scandal, aren't they?
They can be.
I see friends from university, clever chaps, been in the business longer than you. They're scraping by on 7,000-8,000 a year. It's no life. What sort of acting do you do?
Okay, so in this scene, you find that Anna and William have gone for his sister's birthday at their friend's house. And then Anna is speaking with Bernie, who does not even know that she is the famous American film star, okay? So he's talking to her and he's asking about what she does. She tells him she's an actress. He says he's in the stock market. And then he talks about having friends who are also acting and they are scraping by 7,000 or 8,000. Okay, so you have what he means in this context is that they are barely surviving. They are not paid enough wages so they are not living the life that they should live. But the beautiful thing is when he asks Anna how much she was paid for her last film, and she says $15 million, he's shocked and surprised, like, ooh, that's quite good, right? So the emphasis here, the thing we are learning is scraping by. So when you want to tell somebody that you are not boxed up, you don't have a lot of money and all of that, you're barely surviving, you mean that you are scraping by, okay? And I truly hope that you have a lot of abundance around you to help you live the best life that you desire. Now we are going to look at the last phrasal verb, and this is get away with something, okay? So this phrase was also used by Bernie, who is speaking with Anna in this scene. So I'm going to play it on and then you would listen to it, okay?
Oh God! So you knew who she was?
Of course I did. He didn't.
Well, not instantly, but I got away with it.
Okay, so this was another brilliant scene because just as Anna steps out to use the bathroom, we find that the friends come together and they're saying, hey, Anna Scott. And then Bernie realizes that it was Anna Scott, but he did not know. And so everybody is laughing because they knew that she was the famous American film star. And then Bernie says, well, but I got away with it. Okay, so what he means here is she did not know that he did not know that she was a film star, okay? So he was able to play it out well and, she would not have discovered. So when you say you get away with something, it means that you do something wrong and nobody found out. Nobody caught you. You were not caught and you were not punished, okay? So have you ever committed like a crime? Or maybe you did something really small and nobody figured it out. It means that you got away with something. You got away with that thing, okay? So don't forget that you can join my free role-playing club where we get to practice speaking English together. If you're looking to practice with somebody, you want somebody that you can practice with, someone to listen to you, tell you where you're speaking well, tell you where you can be better, make sure you put a comment on this video. If you're listening on YouTube, just type interested and make sure you follow me on Instagram as well so that you can get more updates about it. Okay, so the goal is to give you about 30 minutes each week just to ensure that you're able to practice your English speaking. All right, so make sure you follow me on YouTube and on Instagram. These are the places where I can really monitor your comments. I can really see and get feedback from you. Okay, and keep an eye on your Instagram DM. You're going to find a post on my Instagram page. Just search for Mother Isn't Murder. You're going to find more information about this. So make sure you put a comment on that so that you can benefit from this. It is fully free, and this is just my way of helping you achieve your speaking goals. Because if you do speak confidently, if you can speak English confidently, it means that you can do whatever it is that you are going for. Okay, now we are going to move to the idioms. Don't go anywhere. All right. Okay, so the first idiom we are looking at is speak and span. Speak and span. I have never heard this before, or maybe I have heard it, but I did not pay attention. This idiom means that something is very clean and tidy and shiny, sparkling. Okay, so when you want to say that something is shiny or clean or neat or bright and tidy, you say speak and span. Okay, now I'm going to play the clip where William used this idiom. In fact, this was the scene where he spilled his drink on Anna's shirt. That was like their second meeting on the street. I'm going to play that and you're going to learn from it, okay? Don't go anywhere.
Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. Here, let me...
Get your hands off!
I'm really sorry. I live just over the street. I have water and soap. You can get cleaned up.
Oh, thank you. I just need to get my car back.
I also have a phone. I'm confident that in 5 minutes we can have you spick and span and back on the street again. In the non-prostitute sense, obviously.
Okay, so this is where things begin to really unfold. This is out there on the streets, and William mistakenly spilled his drink on Anna's shirt. It was a mistake, right? And so he said his house is just over the street. He's gonna take her to his apartment so that she can wash with the water and soap, and you're gonna be spick and span and ready to leave, right? So when you say, what it means is that she would clean up and she would look clean again, she'll be fresh again and all. So when you say spick and span, you mean that something will be clean and tidy. So spick is written as S-P-I-C-K, and span is as pronounced S-P-A-N, spick and span. Okay, did you get it? Awesome. Now let's look at the next one, which is ring any bells. Ring any bells. Okay, we're going to listen to the clip so you can learn it. This is a common idiom, and I'm sure you probably already have heard this before, but I'm going to pause so you can listen to how this was used, okay?
I don't suppose Flintstone rings any bells, does it?
I'll put you right through, sir.
Oh my God. Hello. Hi. Hi there. Hi.
Anna had this thing of using cartoon character names when she was lodging at places like hotels and all, because she just wanted some kind of privacy. Okay, so in this scene, you find that Spike, who is William's roommate, told him that Anna called, an American girl called, and at first he could not remember the name she used, but later he said Flintstone. And so when William calls the hotel, it says, I don't suppose Flintstone rings any bells. Okay, so when you say ring any bells, what you're saying is, do you remember? Okay, does this sound familiar to you? Do you remember this name? And as soon as the man on the other end hears Flintstone, he says, I'll put you through. Okay, so when you tell somebody ring any bells, does this ring a bell? Does this ring any bells? You're saying, does this sound familiar to you, or does it evoke a memory? All right, did you get it? Now let's move on to the next one, which is kill two birds with one stone. Kill two birds with one stone. Let's listen.
See, you brought us some flowers.
No. These are for my grandmother. She's in a hospital just down the road. Thought I'd kill two birds with one stone, you know.
Sure, right, absolutely, yeah. Which hospital's that?
Do you mind me not saying it's a rather distressing disease, and the name of the hospital kind of gives it away?
In this scene, you find that William and this other guy are sitting in the hotel waiting to see Anna, and William came with flowers. So this guy says, oh, I see you brought flowers. And then William says, it's for my grandmother. She's sick. She's in the hospital down the street, something like that. And I thought I'll kill two birds with one stone. What he means is he wants to come here and then still go to see his grandmother at the same time. But really, the flowers are for Anna. And you would see in another scene that he actually gives the flowers to her, even though she's in a room filled with beautiful flowers and all of it. But when you say kill two birds with one stone, you're trying to say that you're going to achieve two things with one action. You're going to do one thing and then achieve two things. So let's assume that you're going to work and you need to get to the grocery store as well. It means that you would go in that direction, you go to one place and you go to the other one as well, so that you don't have to make two trips, okay? So that's what you mean when you say kill two birds with one stone. Now we're looking at the next idiom, down the drain. What do you mean when you say something goes down the drain? In this case, you're going to listen to the clip where Bernie uses this idiom, and then you'll get an idea of what he means, okay? Don't go anywhere.
We're best friends already then. Marry Will, he's a really nice guy, then we can be sisters.
Well, I'll think about it. That'll be Bernie. Hi, sorry I'm late. Bollocks doesn't work again. Millions down the drain.
Well done. Bernie, this is Anna.
Hello, Anna. Delighted to meet you.
And you?
Okay, so here we find that Bernie has also just arrived for the birthday of Honey, who is William's sister. And as he comes in, he tells Max, who happens to be the husband to Bella, they are both friends to William, and then he says millions down the drain. And you find that in another scene, he says he's working at a job he does not understand. And you know, when he meets Anna, he tells her that he works in the stock market. So when you say millions down the drain, or you say down the drain, you mean that something has been wasted, you have wasted money. It's used really in that financial context, or in a context of putting in effort into something and then you did not get any benefit. In my mother tongue, Yoruba, we will say owo wogbo. Owo is money, and when you say wogbo, it means money has entered bush. So it's just like when you invest in something and it doesn't pay off, or it doesn't bring you the returns that you expected. So you mean that thing went down the drain. It means you wasted it. Okay? So I hope that you make good decisions so that things don't have to go down the drain. All right? Now let us look at the next idiom, which is take pride in. When you take pride in something, or when you say, let's take pride in this, what do you mean? I'm going to play the clip from the film Notting Hill so that you can learn it, all right?
Having you here, Anna, firmly establishes what I've long suspected, that we really are the most desperate lot of underachievers.
Game.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. In fact, I think it's something we should take pride in. I'm going to give the last brownie as a prize to the saddest act here.
All right, in this scene, you find that Max is talking about the fact that Anna is successful and she's there in their house having this nice time celebrating Honey's birthday. And then it says, your presence here confirms that we're a desperate lot of underachievers. Now, when you say somebody is an underachiever, it means the person is not successful in that sense. But Max says it's not something we should feel bad about. We should take pride in it. Okay, and I think what he's really trying to say is, okay, yeah, we are not as successful as you, but we are also living our own happy lives. So what you mean is be satisfied with what you have, or be comfortable with who you are. Accept that this is who you are and just celebrate it. You don't have to feel bad. So when you take pride in a job, it means you're happy about the job. When you take pride in yourself or in a person, it means that you are proud of that person. You are happy. You are not boasting in that sense. And it's not about showing off. It's just about satisfaction, celebration, acceptance, and a good regard, a very nice attitude to that thing or that person. Okay, did you get it? Now we are going to the final idiom in this lesson. Okay, and this is flug your guts out. In fact, I have never heard this before, or maybe I have heard it somewhere in my dreams or my other life, but this is the first time I'm hearing flog, like flog someone. Now you're flogging your guts out. What does this mean? This is an idiom that Max uses when talking about Honey, all right, in comparison to Bernie, who doesn't like his job and all of it. Let's listen to it so that you can get it, all right?
Right?
Yeah. Well, I did before you got so far.
You see? And unless I'm much mistaken, your job still pays you rather a lot of money, whilst Honey here earns 20 pence a week flogging her guts out in London's worst record store.
Yes. And I haven't got hair. I've got feathers. And I've got funny goggly eyes. And I'm attracted to cruel men.
So in this one, we see that Bernie is talking about the fact that he hates his job, he doesn't understand it and everything, and then he's chubby, he doesn't have a girlfriend and everything. And then Max responds by saying, well, you have that, but look at Honey here. She's flogging her guts out in a record store, in the worst record store. Okay, Honey backs it up by saying she has googly eyes, she's attracted to cruel men, she doesn't have hair, she has feathers. This is just to say that she's working so hard She's getting very little money. Okay, she's not getting paid enough, but she's working so hard. So when you say flug your guts out, what you mean is that somebody is working extremely hard, often to the point of being exhausted. Okay, the point of exhaustion. But then in this case, this is just to say that Ernie is working hard and getting little pay, while Bernie is getting paid, but he hates his job. Did you get it? Okay, that is it for the 6 idioms. Now we are going to move to the 4th category, which has 3 British English usages. Okay, you're going to learn the way the British say some things or the words they use to refer to certain things. Don't forget to like this episode if you have enjoyed it so far. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please make sure you rate and review it and share with your friends, okay? Share it with somebody you know is also on the journey of improving their English speaking skills and becoming a confident speaker, all right? Now let us move on, okay? So the first expression we're using here is, have you got a minute? It's a question. Have you got a minute? Now, when the British say this, what they're saying is, do you have a moment? I want to speak with you quickly, or I want you to do something quickly. However, in American English, what you say is, do you have a minute? So the difference is with the first 2 words, have you got, do you have. The British would say, have you got, while Americans would say, do you have. Okay, now I'm going to play the clip. So this question was asked, and then you would learn the difference and how to use it, okay?
Mr. Becker,
Oh no.
have you got a minute?
No.
Who's in here?
No, it's okay. Well, yes,
Hi.
Now in this scene, you find that William has just spent a lot of his time doing something he did not know how to do. He played an interviewer because he wanted to see Anna. Now you find that Karen, the lady who works with Anna, comes to him and says, have you got a minute? Of course, he's exhausted and he says no. But then he finds out that she takes him to Anna, and that's where they decide to go out together that evening. So what is the point? This question is asking you, do you have some time to spare? Like, are you available now? Do you have a little time for me? I would like to probably tell you something or ask you to do something, okay? Did you get it? So don't forget the difference. The British would say, have you got? Americans will say, do you have? Okay? So make sure you use the right one at the right time. Now let us look at the next lesson, and this is loo. Loo. What do the British mean when they say loo? I'm going to play the clip where Honey used this word so that you know exactly what it means and how you can use it in your own daily conversations, all right? Don't go anywhere.
Bella, can you tell me where I can find them? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's down the corridor on the right. I'll show you. Quickly, Doc, very, very quickly. What are you doing here with Anna Scott?
Anna Scott?
Yes, shut up.
Don't stop. Oh, God.
What?
Oh, God. Oh, Goddy God.
What did you say?
No.
I don't believe it. I actually walked into the loo with her. I was still chatting when she started unbuttoning her jeans. She had to ask me to leave.
Oh, God.
So you knew who she was?
Okay, so I totally loved William's friends. They were just wonderful, okay? Now, in this scene, you find that Honey, William's sister, says, I actually walked into the loo with her. I was still chatting when she started unbuttoning her jeans. So, in this scene, you find that Anna had asked where the bathroom was. She asked Bella, Max's wife, where the bathroom was. And then Honey offered to take her. And when she comes back, she says, I walked into the loo with her. When the British say loo, what they mean is the bathroom or toilet. Loo is the British expression for the bathroom or the toilet. Usually in American English, the informal term is bathroom or restroom, okay? But in the British English, the informal term for the toilet or the bathroom is loo, L-O-O, loo, okay? Did you get that? Now let's listen to the last word, and this is fancy. When you say somebody fancies you or I fancy you, what do you mean? What do the British mean when they say fancy? Okay, now let's listen to the clip so that you can learn. All right.
I work in the city in a job I don't understand. Everyone keeps getting promoted above me. I haven't had a girlfriend since puberty. And nobody fancies me. And if these cheeks get any chubbier, they never will.
Nonsense. I fancy you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so in this scene, you find that Bernie is complaining about his life. Remember that they are all supposed to get the last piece of the brownie, and then they are all trying to talk about how awful their lives are. And then he says, I've not had a girlfriend since puberty and nobody fancies me. Okay, so it just means that nobody is interested in him romantically. Nobody likes him enough to want to have a relationship with him. Okay, so this is how the British use this. When the British say fancy, it means that they like you, somebody likes you, somebody's crushing on you. But Americans will say nobody has a crush on you. Okay, it means that nobody likes you enough to want to date you or go out with you. So the British use fancy, while the Americans use to like someone or to have a crush on someone. Okay, so the next time you're trying to say that you like somebody and you want to use the British English, you say, I fancy you, okay? Or in American terms, I'm crushing on you. All right? Now let us move on to the final category of our lessons for today. But I just want to remind you, if you are listening on YouTube, please remember to subscribe. Don't forget to watch the previous episodes of this podcast. We have done lessons on the intern, the backup plan. The intern is the one that features Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro. The backup plan features Jennifer Lopez and Alex O'Loughlin. And then you have Mr. Deeds, Spanglish, and then an episode on Emily in Paris as well. Okay, so make sure you listen to those ones as well. And if you are preparing for the IELTS test, make sure you follow my other YouTube channel. Just search for Adenike Babalola. You'll find about 100 videos to help you prepare. They are mostly practice sessions of reading, listening, writing, and speaking. Okay, so now let us move on to the final category. Just 2 more lessons and that will be it. Okay, so the first word we are looking at is classic. Classic. Now this is a word that you use when you're trying to say that something is excellent, something is very good, okay, or you are very pleased and satisfied with the outcome of something. Now know that this word classic can be used to describe like a sense of something being excellent or being known throughout history, or something is sophisticated and all. You know, there's also that word classy. When you say somebody is classy, it means they're elegant and sophisticated and all. But when you say something is classic, you mean that that's exactly what it should be. So just make sure that you're pronouncing this correctly and you're using it in the right context. In this film, you're going to learn how William uses the word classic more like an expression of delight or satisfaction. Okay, so let me play the clip so you can learn it. All right.
Right. Great. Bye. Classic. Classic.
Okay, so in this scene, you find that William had just gotten off the phone. He had just spoken to Anna, and she has invited him to the hotel where she's staying. All right. Now, and after the call, he's happy that he gets to see her again. And so he says, classic, classic. Okay, so what he means here is he likes this. This is good. This is good. And he's pleased with it. And you find that throughout the film, he uses classic a lot just to show his delight and pleasure at the outcome of things. Okay, so this is something you can add to your own vocabulary as well. It's a way to say that you like something and something is outstanding. All right, so let's move on to the final lesson. Okay, now the last lesson we're looking at is keen to talk about. When you say you are keen to talk about something, it means that you are enthusiastic about talking about that thing, or you are interested in discussing a specific topic. Okay, so when you tell somebody you're keen to talk about your job, it means that you love talking about your job, or you're keen to talk about a person, your family, or some other project you're working on. It means that you look forward to, you are excited to talk about that thing. So let's look at the clip. Let's listen to the clip where this expression was used. Okay,
Just wanted to make sure that you were fine about it.
Yeah. Absolutely fine.
Do remember that Miss Scott is also keen to talk about her next project, which is shooting later in the summer.
Ah, yes.
Excellent. Any horses in that one?
all right, so this is the final one, and in this case you find that the man tells William, don't forget that she's keen to talk about our next project that is coming up in the summer. Okay, so what he's saying here is Anna is happy to talk about the next project, the next film that she's going to be working on, and so William should not forget to ask her questions about that. And then he just does his thing and goes again to ask about horses because he doesn't really know what to say. He's not an interviewer in that sense. He's not from Horse and Hound. He's actually just a travel bookstore owner. Okay, so that is the end of the lessons. But don't forget that we have a quiz right now, so don't go anywhere. Okay, so are you confident that you remember the 25 lessons we just learned? Which of these English lessons have you forgotten? I'm sure you did not forget any. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions very quickly, and I'm positive that you will get them. Question number 1. What does the idiom kill 2 birds with 1 stone mean? What does the idiom kill 2 birds with 1 stone mean? Option A, to solve 2 problems with 1 solution. Option B, to waste time on 2 different tasks. Option C, to cause harm to 2 people. Option D, to achieve 2 goals with 1 action. What is your correct answer? Yes, you're correct. It means to achieve 2 goals with 1 action. That is option D. Correct? Good job. Now let's go to number 2. What is the meaning of the phrasal verb scraping by? When you say somebody is scraping by, what does this mean? Option A, to make a lot of money. Option B, to barely manage or survive. Option C, to finish a task quickly. Option D, to get away with something. Did you get it? Okay, very good, you're correct. The answer is to barely manage or survive. Remember I said that when you say somebody is scraping by, it means that they are struggling to survive, all right? So that's option B. Now the third question. In British English, what does the term loo refer to? When you say loo, what do you mean? Option A, a living room. Option B, a bathroom or toilet. Option C, a kitchen. Option D, a bedroom. What is your answer? What does loo refer to? Did you get it? Okay, great. It refers to a bathroom or toilet. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so delighted that you have listened up to this point. And very quickly, I'm going to share my language learning strategies from my experience of learning Korean with you, so that as you learn English, you can enjoy the process and you can find it rewarding. Okay, so the first thing I want to share about my Korean learning is I've been practicing speaking, and this is something I want you to adopt as you learn English. Now, I know that you might need this for the sake of applying for a job, or let's say you have an interview and you feel kind of panicky because you don't know how you're going to do. But one thing that has been helping me is I seize every opportunity to practice Korean. And so within the past 2 weeks, that's what I did. When I visited my children's dental clinic, I spoke to the lady at the front desk in Korean, Chai Jineseo, and then when we were leaving, I told her Chonai Tweseo to say have a nice day. Okay, so these are things that you can do. So as you learn English, make sure that you are doing your best to practice your speaking. Now, the next thing I did is reading. Okay, I found the book right there at the clinic and I spent some time reading, I think, the first 2 pages. So as you speak, of course, speaking requires listening, but whatever you read can also contribute to your vocabulary and all of that. I've also been reading Korean books with my children, and that has been helping me. And then I watch TV. I watch TVN while, more like I listen when I'm cooking. I learned how to say I am glad. Okay, and you say kipuda. Okay, kipuda. I listened to some people talk about this on the show. And finally, when I go to church, I try to sing the hymns in Korean. It is usually displayed on the screen and I sing along just to help myself learn new things. So this is just me saying, seize every opportunity to practice your English speaking. And I invite you to attend my weekly speaking practice. Okay, it is a free 30-minute Zoom weekly English practice where you can practice your speaking with me. I get to listen to you talk about your ideas. You develop confidence. If you're preparing for an interview, I can help you. Or maybe you have some other speaking assignments, I can help you prepare for that as well. And then, of course, we'll go over some of the lessons we have learned on the podcast. And then, of course, you get constructive feedback to help you celebrate your strengths and improve your weaknesses. So how can you join this? Number one, make sure you are following the podcast on YouTube and Instagram. Just search for Mother Isn't Murder Podcast. And on Instagram, you will find the posts for this particular practice. So just comment interested in it and make sure you keep an eye on your Instagram DM because you'll be receiving updates from me. Okay, so watch out for my future posts as well concerning notifications for this. And for each month, it is opened to a small group just so that we can have a personalized group experience. For the month of September, we're starting on the 9th. We're starting on Monday the 9th. And we're going to have it for just 30 minutes, okay, on Zoom. So make sure that you express your interest in this if you need somebody to practice your English speaking with, okay? Now, note that this is going to be an ongoing and regular experience. So if I don't choose you in September, please try again in the future months. Try again in the future. And if you know somebody who needs this, somebody who needs someone to practice with them, please send them this episode so that they can listen to it, and then or you share the post on Instagram with them so that they can benefit from it as well. Okay, so that is it for our lesson today. We have completed our 25 lessons from the film Notting Hill. Now, don't forget that you can watch this film on Netflix, on Amazon, on YouTube. You can buy or rent it on YouTube and then some other platforms. So just search for Notting Hill. It's a 1999 film that stars Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant. All right, I'm going to run through the list of the lessons very quickly so you can remember them. So we did genuine, neither or neither, a cup of tea, apricot or apricot, raisins, mayonnaise, rooting round, goggles, species or species, running a little bit late, kill two birds with one stone, fire away, rush you through, scraping by, get away with something, speak and span, ring any bells, classic, down the drain, loo, take pride in, nobody fancies me, flug your guts out. Have you got a minute? And keen to talk about. Okay, so these are the 25 lessons that we learned in this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I had a swell time sharing these lessons with you, and I also hope that you had a wonderful time learning with me. Now, don't forget to subscribe and please send in your feedback. What did you love about this episode, and what do you think can be better? Okay, and also if you have film suggestions, if you have film ideas that you'd like us to consider, please type them below. Okay. Now that you have mastered these idioms, phrasal verbs, and British English usages, there are many more English lessons you should not miss, because they will transform your relationships and help you resolve conflict quickly. Click this video right here to listen now. See you next time. Mwah. When you speak English confidently, you will excel in your job, strengthen your relationships, and feel ready to explore the world. Start speaking English confidently today and watch your communication skills transform from basic to excellent. Thank you for listening to the Mother Isn't Mother podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Don't forget to rate, review, and share the podcast with your friends. And connect with us on social media on Instagram, X, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, and TikTok at Mother Isn't Mother Podcast. Check the show notes for all the links. I remain your host and English language coach, Adenike Babalola. Until next time, keep speaking English confidently.